If you told me a year ago that Fish would blow up again after Dubig's takeover, I probably wouldn't believe you. By the time that this video is in the works, it will be before the admin event, so things may change. I wanted to talk about where Fish stands, being that it's been an entire year since his appearance, and now it sits at the 60 to 100,000 player mark each time. But something feels off. I think it's time to speak from I. My video from a month ago told a summary on how Fish added a lot of changes and readjustments so people can be happy, but these changes were ever so temporary. Don't get me wrong, C2 doesn't exist anymore and obviously pay to win, but that it wasn't the only thing that was readjusted. Comes abroad that the level cap was set right back to 1,000 just for weeks later to go right back up to 2,000. Fish had several changes in the past few months, from the admin rods being entirely removed from having the trading system recircle and balance and dilation. To think the whole game was just stress-free and happy days again, right? I wish it was the case. The problem with the economy. You might hear admin events to be to blame for this a lot in the video, but let me make this a separate away from the admin events. The economy in Fish has rotated in the past months due to how many people are making millions about every day. When new fishing spots appear each update or so, that gives people the money that they need to buy another rod as it starts to kill off exploring in other areas of the game and purely focus on progression towards endgame. Fish can't be perfect with the economy, and there are tempting factors to let those who are in the billions go back to a reasonable average in the Fish community, though they are temporary. That leads to the issue with rod balancing. Rods were purely purposed to always make you catch fish at a reasonable pace, depending on your stage in Fish. But slowly over time, the balancing has gotten more quicker to put it into words. What I mean by this is, as long as a rod has a good lure speed and luck that ranges between the 80% to 100% category, it can be used as an early to late game rod. And the biggest example of this is this rod at 40k. Yeah, if you take the passes out of the picture and had an ant chain on this, it does about the same as a rod at the depths, just 19 times more cheaper. This probably removes the picture of buying other rods until you reach 250k, which once again you will be staying with this rod until level 500. And you might say, why is level 500 so important? It's because of the no life rod. This rod is quite literally the most balanced rod you can use amongst the other choices in this game, and until you got the credits, this is the key symbol that you reach mid-late game. Now you see the issue with rod progression, though you might look at me and say, but this seems too long to get there, and you're right, only if you're playing on a fixed schedule, but that's when we hit dirt. Macroing has always been a mixed thing in the community. People love it, people hate it, but they all come together and say that the enjoyment of Fish slowly starts to burn itself out when you realize that you need this to even progress. This is so needed in the later stages of Fish. Take a look at Fish It, which you will view it and see it has far more players than Fish, though the biggest factor of this is the auto AFK system in the game. Macroing in Fish isn't easily as accessible, and about many mobile and console players quit out of boredom. Fish is a lengthy, pain-inducing game without it. This is where you see the need to grind starts to kick in, though Fish has found a way to counter that grind by not just shortening it, but making it far much more quicker for newer and endgame players alike. What is this counter, you might ask? Admin events. The appearance of admin's events slowly started to show due to how Grow Garden gained success out of it. Without it, Grow Garden could have stayed at the slow grinding pace it was before its change, though we can't really defend it now. Fish's admin events took the inspiration out of this idea and tried to balance it out, where new players could literally reach level 500 in the same day within an hour of playing the admin event, which is insane. And the fishes you get from this also give insane amounts of credits, which removes the need for early game players to even experience it. Nate and Nick knew of this and tried nerfing how the admin events are being ran so people don't end up skipping too much. But even with these nerfs, people still ended up being at a solid amount of income and close to the required level to change their gameplay around. Admin events are enough to say that Fish is in a danger zone with many things, which again kills the purpose to even enjoy the game within its starting stages. Some people came to rely on admin events because it gives overpowered items that people obviously love to see. In return of it, our replayability slowly starts to run dry. First admin event is good, then the second, and then the third. It doesn't feel right anymore. And with these admin events being a central part of why this video was formatted, it tells how the Fish is holding on to it. That was the reason why people noticed small and minor nerfs in the items being used, such as the reward totems being nerfed to be 5 million. The appearance of the black market also made sure that people will end up buying things from it to stabilize the economy before it gets too out of control, which is working from the looks of it. So you have the exclusive deals from the black market to have people buying things, but at the cost of speed of progression towards endgame. That is what I'm getting from this. Aquariums were another thing to talk about due to how they affected Fish's economy as well. When it was first shown, it would give about 20% less of what the fish's value was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was a fan of this feature since it helped endgame players who really had nothing more to do. Though with the look of admin events, aquariums had to be adjusted several times just not to kill off game flow and the economy overall. A lot of people were mixed about this, saying that the nerf was unreasonable and said it was due to how the admin events caused this issue, and the other side is saying how it was bound to happen because it was too overpowered. Though the change sated how Fisch looks, for now. The leveling system, which I came to hate again, being brought back to where Fisch nerfed the cat back down to 1000 just to set it back up to 2000. It made no sense. You could argue that people were progressing too fast for this to be the issue. I could say that for myself, but remember the biggest cause to spark this in the first place. Fisch was all about exploring and finding new areas to complete your bestiarium, though by the looks of it, you're out here grinding levels just to get off the game before you could even have time to process the amount of fish you have to collect. Sometimes I feel blinded by how unreasonable it's starting to get where the bestiary is just there to be there, not even bothered to be filled because of how you have so many other things to do besides that. And endgame isn't any better because you have quests that make you do insane amounts of grinding just to get one spec rod that does remotely close to a black market rod. I'm not mad at it, I'm glad there's at least something to do, but in completing your bestiary was the whole final point of Fisch. Now it seems like there's more grind and enjoyment in the game with the lack of exploring you can do now. Fisch isn't in the best condition even after its return, but is trying at least. It doesn't want to suffer the fate like how Dubig given them when they were brought out a year ago. But this route where every player needs to be endgame to even have the fullest feeling of how Fisch is starting to get to me. I can't say for certain this will be my last video about Fisch on this channel, but if it is, I don't like faking reactions. I love Fisch, but I don't want to push myself to entertain with more hype than I already was. But with nothing more to discuss, thank you for watching, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you on the next one.